As a whole. I think, well, the voting turnout is poor in general. This is not fair. Okay, so it's right. Okay, so it's bad. It's bad. What would you say to a student who says, "I don't care about the JCR, it's not important to me"?
Start with Andrew.
I think the straight answer to that is that it's something that the Open Week, Senior Intro Week rep people spoke about. It's about making sure people realise exactly what JCR does, and that they don't just go, "Oh, it's JCR, it's a bunch of students trying to make themselves important, getting involved in student politics." It's about making people realise that actually we do run and fund sports and societies. We do, you know, we used to run the bars, we kind of don't anymore. It's a bit awkward. So, you know, it's about making sure people realise exactly what the JCR does for them, and that when people do realise the amount of stuff we do and the amount of money we spend on student provisions, then hopefully they'll be far more inclined to vote.
Lydia?
I think it's sort of similar to what I said, in that we all love Cuths, we're here because we love Cuths, and people need to realise from day one that the people that are putting on Freshers Week and all the events are the JCR. So the JCR is important to everyone, even if they don't think it is, and like I said, they need to realise that the ethos of Cuths wouldn't be maintained without them voting for the JCR. And the exact positions and having their say in who run that college.
Fairly obvious question. You suspect one of the candidates in the election has been cheating. What would you do?
Okay. So first of all, obviously, it's important not to act on unfounded assumptions. So I guess first of all, investigate the said situation on an individual level to find out what the evidence is either way, and then liaise with the president, I guess. To find out, to make a decision, although I guess sort of the ending decision would end with the SRO, and act accordingly, so it depends on what sort of cheating is being done. If it's a case of someone like, I don't know, telling people to vote for them in the bar or something, it might be significantly a much less consequence than going around like spreading hate and stuff. Like, what can I say? I'm a lover.
Okay, Andrew.
The most important thing is that you're going to assume you've heard this from another individual. You haven't found it yourself. So the most important thing is you tell the chair another individual, independent person aside from it. At which point you do have to go out. You have to find out. You have to speak to the person who told you this fact. What was said, where, and when. And then you need to convene a meeting of the election committee. Is it election committee or election council? Anyway, which is basically standing com. And assuming you have all the facts, it's then up to the standing committee to make a decision, well, the election committee to make a decision on what appropriate action needs to be taken. It is ultimately, as the SRO is chair of that, it is ultimately their decision. We'd like to assume that given the presence of the facts, the standing committee becomes the correct decision as to whether or not to reduce poster allowance, reduce funding allowance, or indeed ultimately throw them out the election.
Cool. I suppose I should ask a question. Recently there's been, there's lots on Facebook, there's lots on YouTube, and this year we've put a lot of the stuff on Facebook, which has been a risky decision because there's a lot that can be done to cheat on Facebook. So kind of what can you do to make sure that that doesn't happen? You know, Facebook's a very public forum, it's very easy for someone to express preference for one or another candidate, and so what can you do to keep it under control?
Am I first? Yes, sir. I think firstly it's about making clear to the candidates what isn't allowed before the election starts, and I think you're then reliant upon other members of the JCR, if they see something, to be respectable to tell you that it has occurred. You can't go out there and actively police. You can't be sat there looking constantly at the candidates' Facebook pages. Exactly. That's not things. You've got to rely upon other members of Cuths JCR, particularly the exec, if they see something, to report something to you. But also, it's the advantage of having the official Facebook channel through the Facebook page for the elections, that kind of the information is out there. People don't feel the need that they need to get the information out there. They've got somewhere on Facebook they can signpost to.
Yeah, I agree. Just making sure that the candidates know exactly what is expected of them in terms of conduct during the election period. I think it's important, obviously at the moment there's Facebook and a YouTube, and I think it's important that we keep it to that, because a thing like a Twitter would be really hard to keep constitutional and effective. So just keeping to those two things, so it's easier to, YouTube isn't particularly like it's quite easy to moderate, I guess. But with the Facebook, yeah, making sure that it's kept to the official stream, making sure that you are aware on top of everything that's going on.
Are there any other questions? Sweet, thank you very much.